रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयाम्नमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरो भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेः वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्गिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रम् अकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः अचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मा विराहुरपरो हरिः अभाललोचनः शम्भुः भगवान् बादरायणः योगोशतं कनकशृङ्गमयं ददाति विप्राय वेदविदुषे च बहुश्रुताय पुण्यांश्च भारतकथां शृण्यांश्च नित्यं तुल्यं भवति तस्य चैव पाराशर्यवचस्सुधां सुमनसः दुग्धाब्धिमध्योद्धृतां संसाराग्निविदीपनव्यपगत प्राणात्मसञ्जीवनी पूर्वाचार्य सुरक्षितां बहुमतिं व्याघातदूरस्थिताम् आनीतां तु निजाक्षरैः सुमनसः भौमाः पिबन्पन्वः निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवत रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः सान्द्रानन्दवबोधात्मकमनुपमिदं कालदेशावधिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निभास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्तभाग्यं जनानाम् अग्रे पश्यामि तेजो निबिडतरकला यावरी लोभनीयं पीयूषप्लवितोऽहं तदनु तदुतरे दिव्यकैशोरवेशम् तारुण्यारम्भरम्यं परमसुखरसास्वाद रोमाञ्चितमैः आवीतं नारदद्यैः विलसोपनिषत् सुन्दरी मण्डलिश्च बाहुद्वन्द्वेन रत्नोज्ज्वलवलयभृताया शोणपाणिप्रवालेनोपातः वेणुनामीं प्रसृतनखमयूकाङ्गुलीं सङ्गशारां कृत्वा वक्त्ररविन्दे सुमधुरविकसदरागमुद्भाव्य मानैः शब्दब्रह्मामृतैः त्वं शिशिरितभुवनैः सिञ्च मे कर्णवीथीं योगीन्द्राणां त्वदङ्गेष्वधिकसुमधुरं मुक्तिभाजां विवासो भक्तानां कामवर्षद्युतरुकिसलयं नाथ ते पादमूलं नित्यं स्थितं मे पवनपुरपते कृष्ण विश्वनाथ क्षमेतः स्तोत्रं चैतत् सहस्रोत्तरमधिकतरं त्वत्प्रसादाय भूयात् वेदानारायणीयं श्रुतिषु च जनुषस्तुत्यता वर्णनेन स्फीतं लीलावतारैरिदमिदकुरुताम् आयुरारोग्यसौख्यम् आयुरारोग्यसौख्यं जानकीकान्तस्मरणं गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं. With the abundant blessings and grace of Paramatma, I have personally had the opportunity to deliver Srimad Bhagavatam as a series of 7 days called Saptaham. I am indebted to the temple, Dikshit Garu, the members of the board, the volunteers, the astikas who have been serving the temple relentlessly, and of course to all you astikas. I'm sure as organizers they will be a bit doubtful as to how many will come during the weekdays, how many can we expect during the weekends, and this series of lectures is happening after a lull because of the pandemic. So how many would want to come? And this series has no glamour quotient on the stage. So when there's nothing worthwhile for the eyes, we're listening through YouTube, because you know the advantage of YouTube, listening on YouTube is you don't have to look at the person, you can still keep listening. And if you feel the person talks too much, the pause button is right on his mouth. You hit and he stops. Here the person won't stop. So despite so many such limitations, if astikas have made it for like 7 days, I'm sure some could make it on 2-3 days, some of you, most of you 7 days. And irrespective of age, we have had people who have seen Sashtibdapurti, Bhimarata Shanti, Shadabhishekam and so on attending. We also have people who will be seeing all this attending, hopefully. And we also have children inside the room attending. 2 pregnant women had come. And we have children of all ages also coming. So I'm extremely thankful to each one of you. All the 7 days, all of you showered love. I would love to express my gratitude, my kritagnyata to Sriman Rajesh Sampath and his family for hosting me all these 7 days and having the ability to bear with me for all the 7 days. Now that said, we are in the Ekadasha Skandam, Dashama Skandam, and a bit of Ekadasha Skandam will come today. Dwadasha Skandam, I've taken Bhattapatra Shahi from that, and I've already mentioned to it on day, I think I did it on the day before yesterday. After doing Ajamalopakhyanam, then Ambarisha Charitra, then came Bhattapatra Shahi. So that is borrowed from the 12th chapter. Why should you rearrange this? Because on the last day, there's a paddhati in the Saptaha Crown to finish it off with Rukmani Kalyanam. Rukmani Kalyanam happens much before, but we cut and paste that towards the end because an Indian movie always has to end with something good. Right? We are used to seeing that Shubham. So, the Dvadasha Skandam tells how Kali Yugam will be. And I don't have to tell you anything about that. We see it. So, why to speak about something which is already there blatantly in front of our eyes? So, today, I shall take it up where I had left before, a few chapters before. Here is a shlokam. Ayam adbhuta bhuta gokulekshanaha katham akrura iti prajalpyate athava bhuvaneshu darunaha pratitha punyajana nishachara. What a beautiful shloka. Akrura came. He said, this child is not yours, and then it was a very, very sorrowful, melancholic fable that was offered to Krishna. There, the people, Vedanta Deshika says in Yadava Abhyuday, he says, the residents of Vrindavanam called Akrura as Punya Janaha. Punya Jana. Punya means Punyam, Jana means Jana. Punya Jana means good Punyam performed. No. In Sanskritam, if you bring two words of meanings together, the resultant word need not be the addition of those two meanings. You will look at, for example, Shuddha means what? Pure. Atma. Actually, you cannot translate the word Atma into soul. But for our sake, now that we are used to this beautiful language of English, so let's keep momentarily Atma is soul. So if Atma is soul, Punya is Punyam. Punya Jana should mean pure soul, good soul. Shuddha Atma should mean good soul. No. Shuddha Atma means Antahpuram. Inner apartment is called Shuddha Atma. So, two words need not mean. For example, Maha means what? Something which is big. Vriksham, Mahavriksham, big tree. No, the shortest tree is called Mahavriksham. Gramam, Simham. Grama Simham means dog. So, in case somebody introduces you to another person, Swami, I told you my Grama Simham, right? Know what he's talking about. Grama Simham means dog. Punya means Punyam, Janaha means Janaha. Punya Janaha means Rakshasa. So if you take up the Sanskritam dictionary, you make Punya Janaha. Good soul, no. Punya Janaha means Rakshasa. So Vedanta Deshika uses this. Prathita Punya Janaha Nishacharaha. So the people saw something evil in Akrura. But Akrura was just doing what he was ordained to do. Now Akrura took Krishna and Balarama on his Ratha. On his way it was time for Sandhya Vandanam. So he said, let's wait, now I have got Yamuna River. So those days Yamuna River was clean. So he said, let me go and perform Sandhya Vandanam. As he did Sandhya Vandanam, he took the waters and he took the first dip. He was surprised to see somebody inside. Who was he? Namakkara Namatsyaya Pralayabdhicharaya cha Hayashishne Namastubhyam Madhukaitabham Nrityave Akuparaya Bruvate Namo Mandaradharine Kshit Yuddhara Viharaya Namasukara Namaste Adbhuta Nisimhaya Sadhuloka Bhayapaham Vamanaya Namastubhyam Kranta Tribhuvanaya cha. He saw the Lord who came in different incarnations within the waters. He was having a vision. And the person whom he was seating on the serpent couch as a vision was none but Krishna himself. So he used to take the dip, see somebody, come out. Then he used to see Krishna smiling from the chariot. So Krishna did all these 3D, 5D effects. So this is very important in Sampradaya, in our theology. Interestingly, I'll take you like Mahabharata is 3100 BCE, so about 5000 years before. I shall tell you 1000 years before. During the times of Bhagavad Ramanuja, Ramanuja lived for 120 years because Vedam says every human being, the man and the woman, should celebrate 2 Shashtabda Purtis in their life. Dvisashtabda Purti, 60 and 120. So that's called Dvisashtabda Purti. So you have to celebrate. The only person whom I know, to my limited knowledge, who celebrated the Dvisashtabda Purti, I don't know about Japan's history. So here, Dvisashtabda Purti, Bhagavad Ramanuja celebrated 1017 to 1137, roughly 150 years before Cambridge was formed. Now Bhagavad Ramanuja, while he used to walk place after place, town after town, he happened to visit the Lord, the presiding deity of the Lord, in a small hamlet south of the Tamraparani river. This Lord used to recline on the serpent couch, and he is referred to as Vaitamanidhi. So he went, as he entered, like literally, that cinematic moment, he just kept his best foot forward and went into that hamlet. He saw a lady go out. Not even a lady, a little girl. This girl was shedding copious tears. So Bhagavad Ramanuja was a yati, quite famous in his times. So he stopped the girl and asked, "Who are you? Why are you crying? Who are you? Why are you crying?" But being the Acharya that he is, he didn't make such simple statements. I will tell you what he said in Tamil. Yamakku puvur, umakku pogumuraite. Yamakku puvur, I am getting inside this city. But the irony is, for you, this is the city from where you are departing. I am getting in, you are getting out. Yamakku puvur, umakku pogumuraite. He wonders. And then he also says, Oruvar Kurayai, Eluvar Mudutti, Tangumidamam Idu. If a person is given just a piece of cloth, and there are quite many people, they will still choose to live in the city by cutting those pieces of cloth and living with minimum clothing because they wouldn't want to let go of the opportunity of staying in such a divine and a sacrosanct place. When such is the case, how are you going? He asked. What he would have expected, the girl should have said, "I asked for some t-shirt, my father did not buy. I wanted to play golf. My father did not allow. I wanted to buy a few books. My father did not allow. I wanted to watch PS2. My father did not allow." Something. He was expecting such reasons. You know what this girl did? She gave 81 reasons why she is unfit to stay in this city. Little girl, 4 years. She said, "அழைத்து வருகின்றேன் என்றேனோ அக்ரூரரை போலே, கையிரண்டும் விட்டேனோ திரௌபதியை போலே, தேன்மச்சரியே என்றேனோ மதுரகவியார் போலே, பொங்கும் பரிவால் வெளிமுத்தூரானேனோ பெரியாழ்வாரை போலே." So she started telling, for example, did I trust on the Paramatma who is vowed to protect me and leave my hands without holding it on to my piece of cloth like Draupadi? If I was like Draupadi, I would have been entitled to stay in such a holy place. What have I done? அழைத்து வருகின்றேன் என்றேனோ அக்ரூரரை போலே. Akrura very well knew why Kamsa was calling Krishna. He knew it was to kill him. But Akrura still went, knowing that the one whom I am going to call shall bring an end to Kamsa. So on his way to Krishna's Vrindavanam, he had this imagination of how Krishna will welcome me. Will he come and embrace me? Will he come and hug me? Will he talk to me? Will he frown at me? Will he speak a few words? Will those words be honeyed enough so that I can extract maximum sweetness from it? All this went in his head. See, if you're used to discourses, no problem. Imagine you're listening to a discourse series for the first time in your life. Whether the person will be boring, whether I can understand. How can I sit for 2 hours? See, 2 hours is 120 minutes. Right? This is unimaginable because the average retention time in YouTube statistics is about 14 to 15 minutes. This is what YouTube says. Average retention time. Beyond that, people can't listen. 2 hours, no interval. See, at least in movies, after 1 hour, you can go out, you can buy those caramelized popcorn, come inside. Here, there is no scope for that. There you can stretch and sleep if the movie is sleep-worthy. Here, that is also not given. And then the volunteer says, sit tightly together. So, then if the more devotees come, all of you have to stand like Mudalalvars. ஒருவர் கிடக்க இருவர் இருக்க மூவர் இருக்க இடமாம் இது. So he was very doubtful how Krishna will treat him. அழைத்து வருகின்றேன் என்றேனோ அக்ரூரை போலே. So Akrura had this devotion. So the girl who spoke, we do not know her name. I told you about this little girl who gave such answers to Ramanuja, right? We do not know of her name. So we call her by name Tirukkodu Penpillai. We don't know her name. Similarly, Akrura went with this hope. While mentioning about Akrura's devotion, I've spoken about Shukra Brahman on various occasions and the greatness of Vyasacharya, no doubt. But the essence of Bhagavatam has come to us in the form of Narayaniyam and have been invoking the name of Bhattadri here and there. Bhattadri, just to give you a background, Bhattadri was born in Melpattur. He was a very learned person. Very, very learned. But eventually he understood that one of his teachers was suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. His name was Trikandevu Achyuta Pisharoti. So he was a great grammarian, a lesser known mathematician. He came in the school of the infinite series of Madhava series. Lesser known mathematician, a wonderful teacher. So the student thought the best way to give a dakshina to my teacher is to take the ailment on me. So that is possible in certain portions of the Vedas. You perform certain yagam, kratu varghitoshma, you perform certain yagams. Using certain mantras, it is believed in the past you can take that ailment on you. That's suffering, not exactly the root cause. That's suffering. So it is said that he took that ailment on him. His teacher was hale and healthy. He had this rheumatoid arthritis. Now don't ask me, is there that facility available now? That I don't know. You'll have to check if somebody can take our ailment. So here he took that ailment and he suffered in rheumatoid arthritis. And we believe in Ayurveda, wherever the joints come, Vayudeva has a space, so it's called as Vata Rogam. So for the one caused by Vata Rogam, the one who rules over Vayu can rule me, so he went to Guru Vayu. So as he went to Guru Vayu, he was clueless how to spend the time. See, when you're suffering, you should always know how to spend that time so that you won't know the intensity of that pain. That is the greatness. So he wanted to know what to do. That is when one of the greatest Malayalam poets of his times called Tunjattu Ramanuja Eluttachan. He had come, he gave us Adhyatma Ramayana in Malayalam. So when he came, Bhattadri asked, what should I do? He gave one puzzle, Prahelika, and went, Meena Tottu Kurtuna. Begin with the fish. What I would have done, I would have bought fish, cut, marinated that, looked at one of the recipes and made fish. Or I would have taken it very close to one of my friends in Bengal and asked him, give me a recipe. But what he did, now he thought, Meena Tottu Kutuga, Meen denotes Matsyavataram, describe the greatness of Matsya Avataram and such like avatars, which means bring the essence of Bhagavatam. So this essence of Bhagavatam was hidden in that word. And in that pain also he was able to decipher that. We say, right, I'm so tense, my mind won't work. But his mind worked. He said, okay, I will use this opportunity. He couldn't even bend. He has to hold the writing pen. So he called his brother Matrudatta and he used to read Bhagavatam verses. He used to listen, internalize and then recite the verses, and then the person used to write the Narayanian verses. Per day he used to write one Dashakam. One Dashakam we typically have 10 verses, at times 11 or 12 verses. So he composed 100 Dashakams in 100 days. The last day was when the last to conclude saying that whoever recites this with utmost devotion shall live with good health and incessant prosperity. So you have to sign it off, like how painters, artists do. They say this particular, they'll put their name and they'll say 15/5/93. They will mention the date. So he says, while concluding, Ayur Arogya Saukhyam, you listen to this every day, right? Ayu, life, Arogya, health, Saukhyam, you will live well. Ayur Arogya Saukhyam. This is called Katabaya Adi Sankhya in Sanskritam. So, Ka, Ka, Ga, Ga, Nga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Nya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, ta, da, da, na. So again it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Then you have the units place, tens place, hundreds place, 10,000, thousands place, 10,000s place. So if you take R 0 into, then you have to put 1. It will become infinity. So what you do is R, U, Ya, you take Ya, Ya, Ra, Ya is 1. 1 into 10, 10. Ayura, again Ra, Ya, Ra, 2. 2 into 100, 200. So if you keep doing this, you will get one sum, which is around 17,12,360 if I'm right. That corresponds to 27th November 1587. That is the date he had completed Narayaniyam, and in that year it was the Guruvayur Ekadashi that he had completed. So he was a great mathematician. Now Bhattatri, as he kept composing one dashakam after the other, he saw some marginal improvement in his health. Of course, he was taking a lot of Ayurvedic medicines, but it kept improving. In the 98th dashakam, inadvertently, after every shloka, he started prostrating in front of the Lord. Krishna tasmai namaste, namaste. Then he realized, oh, I'm cured of it. Then the 99th dashakam came, where he had to bring the quintessence of the last few adhyayams of Bhagavatam. It was over, done, dusted. That is when Bhattadri, after having given the quintessence of Bhagavatam as Narayaniyam in 99 dashakams, thought for some time. He said, oh Lord, you seem to have incarnated as the fish. You came as the fish, proving you are also within the fish to restore the sanctity of the Vedas. It is said that the Vedas developed some pungent smell. To give it that gandham, the lost gandham, the Vedas are said to have propitiated the Lord, and the Lord gave parimalam, smell. So he is called Parimala Ranganatha in a kshetram called Indu Kshetram, Thiruyindalur in a place called Mayavaram. Parimala Ranganatham Bhavaye, says Dikshita. So Bhattadri thought, oh Lord, you came as a fish to restore the lost odor, good fragrance to the Vedas. You incarnated as the Kurma to bring the sheen to the lost prosperous materials and prosperity showing possessions of Indra. During the Varahavatara, when a section of earth was submerged and a thin layer of moss was developed over it, Pasi, Tesudaya Tevar, Thiruvaranga Chelvanar, Pesi Ruppanagal, Perkavum, Perave. You came as Varaha, Neelavarai Irande Pirai, Kavin Murundappak, Valavaraha Munna, Nilan Kotidangunda, Yandai, Nilakadal Kadindai, Ummai Petri, Ini Pokuvano, Purvam, Varaha Vapusha, Purushottamena, Pritena, Bhogi Sadane, Samudikshitayaha, Patalaka, Pralayavaridhas, Vayastavasan, Udvaha, Mangalavidhehe, Uchitamridangaha. You came as Varaha to restore the sanctity to Mother Earth. When that little boy said that my Lord, who is within me and makes me speak and is also pervading within you, is the one who rests within every little atom or that entity which you feel is not divisible any further. Trailokyameta dakhilam narasimhagarbham, to prove and to showcase that the words of the little boy was true. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam. It is said that you appeared as a man lion, Simha, and you probe the truth and the sincerity lies in the words of one's devotee. When you had to seize the possession back to a person who had not got it in the right way, you came as a dwarf Vamana, proving that size literally doesn't matter. You can actually prove your mettle and your talent with whatever figure God has given you. One becomes a giant, it doesn't mean he can achieve everything, and a person who's short and tiny and puny doesn't mean this lanky person can't do. You just probe Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan while you came as Vamana and then grew up as Trivikrama. When you found that your father was killed by a tyrant king called as Kartavirya, you avenged the death by killing him and killing 21 Kula Kshatriyas. Trisaptakshitim Kratuhara Shikhari Kantuka Vihrutyunmuka Jagadiruntuta Jitahari Danti Danta Danturonta Dashavadana Damana Kushala Dashashata Bhujamuka Drupati Kula Rudira Jara Bharita Pritutara Tataka Tatpita Pitruka Brugupati Sugati Vihatikara Nataparu Dishupariga. You eliminated that race. You were born as Rama to Dasharatha and Kausalya, and to keep up the words of your father, you went with Vishwamitra, Kiltataka and any of those anti-social elements that caused so much of agony amongst the people, restored dharma, and then you married Sita. Then after your marriage to Sita, 12 years you lived happily in Ayodhya. While you were turning 25, she was 18. Came Manthara from the neighboring country called Kekeya. She brainwashed Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi sought 2 boons. Those 2 boons were asked to Dasharatha. Dasharatha, initially reluctant, had to grant those 2 boons. As a result of those 2 boons, you went to the forest. Along with you came Sita and Lakshmana. Agrata Prayaya Ramaha. Sita Madhye Sumadhyama Prishtatastu Dhanushpanihi. Lakshmanaha Anujagamaha. And in the forest, you ended up meeting great rishis like Bharadwaja, Sutikshna, Sharabhanga, Agastya, Valmiki. You accepted the hospitality of Guha, gave the Padukas, Padukam, Medinicha to Bharata. While in this scenario, you killed Viradha, who ended up abducting Sita. Then, while Shurpanaka was humiliated and she brought Kharadushana and Trishiras like Asahaya, Shura, Anapaya, Sahasa, you ended up killing all those demons in the place of Janasthana. Later, in your absence, Ravana came as a mendicant. He asked for alms. Sita gave it with absolute innocence. And in that ignorance that she lay in, she was abducted by Ravana. In search of Sita, you went to Kishkinta, you killed Vali. So what comes to your mind? Surpa. What causes 8.5 will come to our mind first. And whatever is healthy will come at the last. Salad will come at the last. Mysore Pak, Poli, Padir Pedi, and then whatever 2-3 dishes will say. Now the cook will not come and fight with you. Tell him the same order in what I serve. So while Krishna vanquished these people in Mathura, it was so quick. There was no gap. So the author had a confusion, which was first, which was second. So there is no mistake. So Vedanta Deshika says, Alva didn't make a mistake. It was so quick, he didn't know the order. Virpenavayavum Kanjanum Vallum. It should have been Mallum Kanjanum. But he said Kanjanum Vallum. So the research that our playwrights have done, poets have done, acharyas have done in the last, I would say, 3,000, 2,700 years, at least based on the inscriptions, is humongous. Now, after vanquishing Kamsa in the battle and then releasing his parents from the jail, Krishna goes to the tutelage of a rishi called as Sandipani. He lived in a place called Ujjain. Ujjain is also called Ujjain is also called, very good, Avantika. Now, as Krishna graduated in 64 days, we need such quick graduations, otherwise every year the fees is very high. 64 days. They should take all courses, day and night they have to study, borrow a few hours from others and then finish. Now, Krishna developed great friendship with the son of Gishpati, Brihaspati's son. He was called Uddhava. Krishna became great friends with Uddhava. And you will see Uddhava's name coming in Bhagavatam, the later half of Bhagavatam, and in Mahabharata as well. Uddhava was so close to Krishna. He used to observe Krishna in the close quarters, his walk, the way he used to speak. So as Uddhava used to observe Krishna, over a period of time, he started behaving and becoming like Krishna. Not so possible, but there is a theory suggested by our ancestors. If the husband and wife manage to live together for over 40, 50 years of marriage, they will start looking and behaving like each other. There's a belief. Now all this, you may wonder, will that happen? Because all this is a possibility. First of all, they have to live together. 40, 50 years. Now itself many will get attacked. 50 years is too much with this man. Third, then they may start, see, there's all a probability. So if I'm going to divide it by 3, then I'll have 1 by 3 probability, which is 33.33, non-terminating decimal. But let's take Ramayana. Sita is told by Rama. Rama says, see, I've been ordained to go to the forest for 14 years on an exile. I may not be able to see you, Sita, for 14 years. The world is very small. Let's stay in touch. And then he left. So, and he was telling all of us, Sita said, where are you going? We are going to the forest. What will I do here with your mother? And for her, the life was, she had many mothers-in-law. And all of them were hale and healthy, not dying anytime soon. So, she said, what will I do here? I will also come with you. Rama said, there will be animals there. It's a beautiful conversation. You can read or listen to one of my discourses. Read Valmiki Ramayana. There is a 30-verse conversation. She'll say, I will come. He'll say, why are you coming? There are animals there. Sita says, I heard that you fight well. You fight. So you have bow and a quiver of arrows, fight them out. Then he says, you will get only fruits and tubers there. She says, that's what my dietitian has advised. For everything, she has an answer. At one point in time, Sita gets frustrated with this man. She tells, I am ready to come. This man is not ready to take me. I will now tell you one thing. She says, what is that one thing? She tells Rama, if you think you can just get rid of me, remember, my mother has told me, Shastram says that whoever is a husband and wife now shall remain the same Dampati for 7 janmas. I told this in Bay Area. Half of them went away. So, living with the same person, so 1 janma you can tolerate. Here, Uddhava started looking like Krishna. When you start mimicking the other person, and that was as great as Krishna, there was a little garvam which came, ahankaram which came in Uddhava. Krishna diagnosed this ahankaram. He wanted to give a very subtle treatment to Uddhava. He said, Uddhava, I have some important work, so I am not able to go. Can you please go on my behalf? In those days, if you go on the behalf of a king, it was something very great. Can you please go on my behalf? Uddhava asked Krishna, okay, done. Where? Go to Vrindavanam. As Uddhava entered Vrindavanam, being Dwaraka, Mathura's chariot, people thought this is Krishna who has come. People thought it is Krishna who has come. So they said, Krishna, come here. No, Uddhava had to open his mouth and say, no, I am not Krishna, I'm Uddhava. By the time he opened his mouth, they'll put some sweet. The other lady said, that is not great, you take mine. So they started showing so much of love. One said, your hair is so dry, I need to give you an oil bath. One lady brought some oil and started massaging him. Now Uddhava started shedding tears. He now felt, I thought I had the greatest devotion to Krishna. Look at these people. Evam bhakti sakala bhuvane nekshita nashrutava. I have neither seen nor heard of this devotion. Kim shastraudhaihi. I have been telling people with great pride that I have learned under Brihaspati. What use is my learning when I can't match the devotion of Gopika Stris? Kim shastraudhaihi kimiha tapasa gopikabhyo namostu. All I can do is only fall at the feet of Gopika Stris for teaching the world what bhakti is. So he says, Ityananda kulam upagatam gokulat uddhavam tam drishtva Krishto gurupurapate pahima mama yogat. So this is another beautiful scene that teaches what Krishna bhakti is. Krishne bhakti prajayate. Now, the daughters of Jarasandha were married to Kamsa. So naturally those daughters became widows. Jarasandha was as such a very depressed soul. He became all the more frustrated now. He said, I can't take this, and he started attacking Mathura. He knew his son-in-law was completely fit-worthy for the treatment he got, but still, being the relationship that he was, he started attacking Mathura with retinue. Krishna and Balarama tried defending 17 times. The 18th time, Krishna had an idea. He understood from sources revealed that Jarasandha had gotten a coalition with one of the Greek kings. Greeks in those days were called Yavana. So he was so fearful as a god of death, so he was called Kala Yavana. Yavana Shabdam is always there. Greeks are found during the Mahabharata times. I told you, did I tell that shlokam from Mahabharatam, China Drishyam? I told you, right? Chinese army fought with Kauravas. There is a mention, China-hi. So this Kala Yavana had come. Now Krishna thought, why should I take all the credit? Let me keep it for my cousin, Bhima. So what he did was, see, all this is again logically less tenable, but let's understand. Krishna wanted to give safety to the people of Mathura. So Bhagavatam says something very unique. He bought one island off the coast of Gujarat. He called the architects and asked them to construct a beautiful city. How was the city? Now there is a bird's eye view given of the city. He says, Prabhuta Ratna Dyuti Kesaram Tat Pravala Patraudha Parita Parshvam Sthane Harerishta Tamam Tadasi Sambhuti Rajivam Iva Indirayaha. Indira means who? Emergency. Who is Indira? So understand this very well. Indira means Mahalakshmi. Indra means Indrapatni. So, Indira is Mahalakshmi. Where does she sit? Lotus. So from the top, this city island looked like a lotus. How the coral reefs that were found at the edges of the city, we have heard of the Great Barrier Reef and so on, right? So the coral reefs found around the island from the top during when the moonlight comes looked as if there were petals to the city. The central part of the island looked, you have the calyx, the corolla and the stamen, right, in a flower. So there were petals. There was a central portion from where the stamens had come. And they were carrying pollen. So the gem-studded multi-story buildings of that city looked like the stamens. Prabhuta Ratna Dyuti Kesaram Tat. Now you may say, sir, will it be as large as Burj Khalifa? Will it be like Empire State Building? See, we have standing examples of multi-tier. When I say multi-tier, it doesn't have to be 40 to be called a multi-tier. There are 3-level multi-tier buildings called Ashtanga Vimanam. Of the 7th century, Angkor Wat is of the 12th century, it's an Ashtanga Vimanam. Tirukoshtiur is an Ashtanga Vimanam. How anybody belongs to Kallidai Kuruchi here? Any Kallidai Kuruchi Astikas? Kallidai Kuruchi is very close to Tirunelveli. So in Kallidai Kuruchi there is a kshetram for Lakshmi Varaha. It is a multi-story temple constructed during the Pandya times. The central temple of Madurai, Kudalalagar, is also an Ashtanga Vimana temple. So you have multi-level places. Even in Varadaraja Swami temple of Kanchipuram, you will have another full layer, first layer. In Chidambaram, Chitsabhesha Sannidhi, you will have one layer. Pravada Patrauga Parita Parshvam, the gem-studded multi-raised buildings looked like gems, the pollen and the stamens of the flower. The coral reefs around looked like petals of a lotus. And the prosperity of the city looked as if Lakshmi had shifted from her lotus and came to this city. Sambhudi Rajivam Iva Indirayaha. So what Krishna did was, one night, again, not so logically tenable. It could have happened in many nights, it could be an exaggeration, or it could have truly happened. Krishna shifted the entire residents while they were asleep in that night in Mathura to Dwaraka. One night. They didn't realize this. Next day morning they got up, their saris had reversed. When they opened their mouth to speak in Hindi, kaise ho? They opened, kaise kem cho. What am I speaking? The other person, majama. So, the language changed, the cuisine changed, the dress changed. They now become Gujaratis from UP. So while this was happening, Krishna, while he was fighting Jarasandha, got down from his chariot. Generally you get down from a chariot to surrender to the opposite person. And Krishna smiled. Makara kundalangal irisevi inanga mati mukham thanile muruval vilayada. He smiled. And then he started running away from the battlefield. Jarasandha said, what is this man doing? Why is he running from the battlefield? I can't even... That time Kalayavana said, I don't know why I had a pact with you. I've never seen any person in the battlefield running like this man. And you're calling him a great warrior. Don't run! And Kalayavana started chasing Krishna from Uttar Pradesh. They took breaks every now and then. They crossed Madhya Pradesh, came to Gujarat in Raivataka Parvatam, inside a gufa cave. Krishna went in. रण छोड़ के जा रहा है, रण छोड़ रहा है. And this Kalayavana came inside the cave. There Krishna was sleeping and snoring. He had put his Pitambara Vastram, Uttariyam, and sleeping. Mannerless person. He has made me run for thousands of kilometers and he is coming here. Senseless man. He kicked him. Gave another kick. Now slowly that Vastram came out and then there was one old Dumbledore there. And he opened his eyes because he had kicked him from sleep. So this person opened his eyes. As he opened, this Kalayavana turned into a heap of ashes. Now Krishna comes from the behind. So he comes slowly. Now this person did not really understand what was happening. He just opened his eyes, that person got burnt. Imagine you're opening your eyes from your sleep, somebody is getting burnt. So this person turned into a heap of ashes. Then this person was confused. Who is he? What did I do? Then Krishna comes and says, see, your name is Mr. Muchukund. Muchukunda, you were given a boon that you shall rest forever by Indra. If somebody troubles you in your sleep and you wake up, they shall turn into ashes. I knew this boon, so I optimized these two situations. Muchukunda said, anyways, I've woken up now. I've seen you. And he does one stuti, Muchukunda stuti. Then after this Muchukunda stuti is when Rukmini Vivaham happens. But I told you Rukmini Vivaham is to come to the end. So now assume that Rukmini Vivaham has happened. You have all assumed? Now, there is another question. Etastenapa krita purvam sakatham vijaganatam etatvad vistarata shrotum ichhami sakalam guru. Please tell me that charitram of the one who killed the one who had kidnapped him. Tell me the story of the one who was kidnapped and the person who had kidnapped him, and finally the one who had kidnapped was killed by the person whom he had kidnapped. Betty Botter would have Yestenapakrita purvam sakatham vijaganatam edat vistarata shrotum ichhami sakalam guru. Because Rukmini and Krishna had a son. His name was Pradyumna. This Pradyumna was around 6 days after his birth, just 6-day-old baby. He was put to the cradle. Rukmini had gone inside, just like how Yashoda left Krishna and went. Now eventually it was found while she came back that the little child was missing. The moment this little child was missing, she got startled. She told Krishna. They all felt very sad. Krishna knew there will be a reason for this and he kept quiet. But imagine, see, when we listen to Krishna Charitram, we always take it in a very jovial perspective. Lot of things. Krishna did not grow up with his own parents for 10 years. The one who had produced him after 6 killings, 7th miscarriage and the 8th one this, she did not have the opportunity to realize and relish the pastimes of Krishna. While Yashoda relished the pastimes when Krishna left Vrindavanam, there seems to be no occasion where he came back. There are many instances which actually are lessons to us, but we may fail to notice it because the avataram is so jovial that we just take one layer of rasam and we don't see the other rasam in it. There is a hasyam, but we don't see the karuna rasam in it. Rukmini did not bring up her child. That child, again, there is a lot here mentioned. The child was thrown to the sea waters. At that point in time where it was thrown, one fish caught it. While the fish caught the little baby, the fish was caught by the fisherman. The fisherman took the fish to his cutting table. While he cut open the fish, he saw one baby still having that life. That baby was so attractive, his daughter brought him up. His daughter's name was Mayavati, not that elephant. Another Mayavati. Namama rajadasyapi jatharagni pradipataha. Now later as he grows, this boy understands that the one who had separated him from his parents, put him into the waters, rescued later, was none but an asura called Shambhara. He ends up killing Shambhara and marries Mayavati. Now, on the other hand, this entire belt of Bihar, Jharkhand, lower part of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, around the Tropic of Cancer. So it's a good place where solar energy can be generated. Hence this belt was very popular for sun devotees. Sun devotees were called by a name Shaura. So the group of people who even shifted from Gujarat, who worshipped the sun and came to the south during invasion, were called Shaurashtra. Shauram is Surya. That is why there is a ragam called Saurashtram. Interestingly, while composing the Vara Kritis, Dikshita composes the Kriti on Surya in Shaurashtam. Surya Murte Namostute Sundara Chayadhipate. Anybody of Simha Rasi here? Anybody born in Simha Rasi? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Simha Rashyadhipate. Surya is the Lord of Simha Rashi. So, that is why, I don't know how many of you are interested in history. If you all have time, read the 2 books, which are also called Indica, but by another person. He was an Uzbek. His name was Al-Biruni. This Al-Biruni belonged to Uzbekistan, and around the 10th century and first half of the 11th century, he describes his experiences in Bharat. In Multan, he describes that he has been to a Surya temple. He says, you can check that book. It is available, 2-volume book by Al-Biruni. It is translated in English because we won't know Uzbek language. There's somebody, some Mahatma has translated in English. So in that he mentions of a beautiful Divya Mangala Vigraham of Surya Deva floating in air in that Garbhagraham. So he also tells how magnet was placed at the bottom, at the top, so that it could be maintained, and he describes the idol of Surya Deva having rubies in it. So around the 16th century is when the temple was invaded and those rubies were taken. So all this comes. So you'll be able to understand how centric that person was for, the place was for Surya worship. Why should I talk about Surya worship? Because in that Shaura worship came a person called Satrajit. He was a businessman in Gujarat. He used to worship Surya and he obtained a very returns, ROI. And he used to get barrels of gold, all that is there, what all he used to get. In that house, no reptiles will come. Even if you're in Arizona, you don't have to worry of scorpions. So all this was there, no body ailments. Doctors used to have something, grudgingly they used to look at his house because he's not coming to their cleaning. So all this was there. This Satrajit's money was so giving him so much of prosperity that at one point in time his personal wealth exceeded Dwaraka government's wealth. So immediately Krishna wrote with the facsimile of the Gujarat Dwaraka government and said, this stone has to be deposited in our national treasury. Satrajit said, nahi, main nahi de sakta, ye mere kamai ka hai, main kyun दूं? He said, that's all. This altercation happened in the presence of media. Next day morning, that money went missing. So who would have stolen? It fell on Krishna. Krishna, chor hai. Campaign. So now Krishna thought, well, I used to steal butter. People said, no, you're not stealing. When I'm not stealing, they're saying you're stealing. So he wanted to take that accusation off. So he went into the woods. At that point in time, he saw one dead horse. Next to the dead horse, there was a dead person. He happened to be Satrajit's brother. And next to the dead bodies of the brother and the horse was the dead body of a lion. Now Krishna understood this person must have stolen the stone from his own brother's house. From a distance, the lion must have assumed this is a piece of meat and would have attacked him. So it would have killed the horse and Prasenjit, and thereby the stone which was taken, assumed to be flesh and taken by the lion, would have been taken by some other animal. You may wonder, sir, he's a bear. The daughter is so pretty, like that Miss World, she is there. How can a girl be born? So this animal, out of sincere love, must have had an attachment to the human girl. She would have been an orphan girl. Animals have that love. Compared to human beings, animals are better at times. So Jambavan must have fought with Krishna. Then he later realizes, Setu Krita Swayasha Ujjwalita Chalanka, the one who once constructed Setu is the one who is now standing in front of me. He sought remorse and said, please take this little girl along with you. Now when Krishna returned, he got that gem Jambavati. She was called Jambavati. He brought. Now Satrajit felt very bad. I should have not blamed you, Krishna. I should have not blamed you. Now you take this money and marry my daughter. So Devaki used to have one. So Narada brings that flower. As he brings the beautiful flower, he inquires with the Rakshakas, where is Krishna? They say he's in 301. 301 was Rukmani's chamber. So Rukmani was doing some puja. Om Jai Jagadish Hari. Standard ragam. She was doing some puja. So as she was doing puja, Krishna came and said, Rukmani, he took all this and he sat, some dhokla, all that was kept on the side. And Krishna spoke to Rukmani. That is when Rakshaka came and announced, Narada Maharishi has come. Narada came with the flower. It was so fragrant. Rukmani asked, what is this? He said, see, this is Parijata Pushpam. I had been to Indra's house. Indra gave me one sample. He said, try. What will I do it, madam? I thought I will give it to Krishna. Krishna, I'm giving it to you. Give it to the one whom you love the most. Now comes the problem. If Krishna keeps it in his hand, Rukmini will feel bad. So he gave it to Rukmini. Simple. No, Narada doesn't stop here. He now gets out and knocks at 302. Satyabhama opens. Naradji, aye. He goes inside. And then, kaise hain aap? Tashrif rakhiye, farmaiye. So, I'm very upset, Satya. Why, Naradji? I gave one beautiful flower to Krishna. I told him, please give it to the one whom you love the most. I was expecting he will knock at your door and give. He gave it to Rukmini. Punnagai mannam, Puvidi kannam, Rukmini kaga, and the Bama, Rukmini, Irvarumi, avan Varuvanu kaga. Now she got angry. She said, Krishna, I don't need the flower, I need the tree. At that point in time, Indra came to the court of Krishna and said, unique objects are getting lost in my neighborhood. My mother's blue jacket diamond studs, Aditi Devi's studs, Varuna's umbrella. See, that is why I never, it is my rule, whenever I go to discourses, I don't sport footwear. Because half our time will go in searching them. Some people, it will be very cold, it may get wet. Then search. So, here, he didn't take that. Varuna lost his umbrella. They finally found from the CCTV footage that it was being taken away by a king of Pragjotishapura. Pragjotishapura, some historians say, is the current day Assam. But there is another theory that it could be Thailand, because Thailand in earlier maps, even of the 16th century, was called by a name called Dwaravati. So Krishna was in the west called Dwaraka, so this was Dwaravati. Pragjyotisha need not indicate a person called Naraka, it could indicate something that keeps shining, Pragjyotisha, which means active volcanoes. So there are two volcanoes in Thailand. Because of their volcanic reaction, they give rise to a lot of gems. So a lot of gem cutting happens in Thailand. That is why the theory states that a lot of gem cutting was also shifted to Gujarat. So that has been there for a very long time. You talk about the rubies of Myanmar and so on, right? It is called Brahmadesham, Myanmar. It has a lot of lotuses. Brahma sits on the lotus. That is why Myanmar has this ancient textile art of drawing thin threads from lotus and spinning a beautiful fabric called as a lotus silk. Well, when you get into history and our Puranas and then see textiles and a lot of other events, you understand the beautiful way they all come together. Now, coming to Naraka. Now, this is another problem. We often say, Krishna killed Naraka. So, since Krishna killed Naraka, we all celebrate Deepavali. This is a sadistic festival then. Correct? Somebody is killed. Yes, he's killed. We will celebrate festival. No. Naraka Chaturdashi is not a way to commemorate Naraka's death. In Sanskritam, Naraka means Nrinam Prapayati iti Narakaha. That day which helps you get, or that event or that word which helps you get, what which is very auspicious, that which is very far close to you. For example, till you live in a limited geography when there were no flights flying, in Bharatadesham, Ganga river was thought to be very holy. But not everybody can live by the banks of river Ganga. They have to live in other places. And they won't have transport facilities to go to Ganga every now and then and come. So it is believed in Shastram that the great waters of Ganga reaches your house, your bathroom on one day. That Amavasya Dinam. Since the great Ganga reaches our house, Nrinam Prapayati, that which comes to our house from a great place, it is called Naraka. Incidentally, the person who was killed was also called Naraka. That's all. We are not celebrating Naraka's death. We are not sadistic people. செத்து போயிட்டார், நான் என்ன கொண்டாடும், பட்சணம் பண்ணுங்க. So Krishna goes upon the request of Indra to vanquish Naraka, and Naraka had done, today we call it as trafficking, right? He had helpless women, he had seized them, put them into jails. So at that point in time Krishna rescues those women, and interestingly his son Bhagavatta runs with his tribe in the west. So Bhagavatta Kshetram is Bhagdad, etymology wise. So then after having vanquished Naraka in the battle, so that day, to say that it was bringing light to the women who had seen the dark, we lights. So Avali in Sanskrit means row. Deepam is Deepam, light. Deepasya Avali iti Deepavali. A row of lights is called Deepavali. Now that Deepavali is too long, so they made it Diwali. Whose Wali it is? It is Deepavali. That Avali means row. Somehow people take pride. Happy Diwali. Kya Diwali? It is a Sanskrit Shabdam. Deepasya Avali. I will even quote that verse, then people will think I'm... Divi Bhuvicha Samidham Deeparupena Rodhais Tribhuvana Vibhananam Ankurai Ekarupaihi. This is a verse from the 12th century that I am quoting. So, Deepotsava, there is one inscription in the eastern wall of Srirangam telling that the kings used to give grants for Deepavali. Deepotsavam, there is a grant of 11th century inscription is there. So it's not a new festival. People now, Quora.com is troubling Upanyasakas. Quora says, who is Quora? Where Priya Quora? Quora says. Now, after bringing them and then restoring, now Krishna takes Satyabhama to Indrapatnam, Amaravati. Now there is another beautiful verse. I'm short of time, so I'm not able to say one. Yathasvam Nagaradware Yadava Danavaschatam Tatasvi Garudarudam Satyamekshanta Dakshanam. A beautiful verse. See, on Garuda, when Krishna and Satyabhama sat and left Dwaraka, they had to reach which place? Indrapatnam. Where did they go? What was the city where Naraka lived? Pragjyotishapuram. That is Assam. Now, even if you take, let's forget Thailand, even Assam is around 1900 to 2200 kilometers, roughly, between Dwaraka and this place. This is poetry. Now, Garuda, Krishna and Satyabhama reached the abode of Indra. For Indra only he did all this, so he gave those studs, Varuna's umbrella back and said, take care of this Indra. Then Indra said, please, I have kept one party for you, let's have a nice day. They were all having. That time, Satyabhama said, can you please give me one flower, Pav? She said, no, I don't part with my flowers. Garuda got angry. He plucked the entire tree. Ennadan devikku innappu iyadal tannadan kanave. So that was taken, and that tree was planted, that sapling. In those days you can bring, they won't catch insecurity. So they brought that tree along with little soil sample because it will not get adjusted. So they planted the tree. You know, literally today we say we can plant trees. You can plant trees. So they were the pioneers. They planted a tree. As they planted the tree, generally you don't plant tree in the middle of your backyard, towards the corner. It was planted in the backyard of 302, Satyabhama's backyard. But the greatness of the tree was all the flowers used to fall in 301's backyard. So, after this Sambhavam, we have very interesting Sambhavam. There was a king called Bana. Bana had a daughter, very style name, Usha. So Usha was a great devotee of Parvati. She had observed Gauri Vratam. She wanted to get rid of her father, not a great father, he was into atrocities. So she wanted to get rid, so she thought I might as well marry someone who is a good person so that we both can have a nice life. But whom will she marry? Nobody is ready to give their son for Bana's daughter, knowing the father. So she prayed to Parvati, and Parvati said, you may be having a vision of a great yuva in your dream. And that is the person whom you will be marrying. See, in those days we had great dream tellers. We too get dreams. Shullikramari or dream yeah, if you go tell some person what dream you had, the dog was chasing me, that person feel you deserve it. So we have few people who narrated their dreams. Bharata tells what he dreamt of his father to Shatrughna in Ayodhya Kandam. Trijata narrates her dream that she sees of Rama and Sita to Sita in Sundara Kandam. There is one dream narrated by Usha that she sees to her friend Chitralekha. Andal tells her dream to her friend, Varanamayiram Shulavalam Cheydu Naradan Nambi Nadakindran Endedi Puranapurkudam Vaituppuramengum Thoranam Natta Kanakandin Tolina. She tells. There is one Sanskrit work on dream. Can anyone tell what is the name? Yes. Bhagavata Saptaham is just description on dream. This entire it has that name. It's a beautiful Sanskrit work. Who said that? Swapna Vasava Dattam. Beautiful work. Well, now she dreamt. She managed to remember the details of what she had seen in her dream. So she calls her friend Chitralekha. She had done masters in 4 and 6 sciences. So she could draw in Picasso. She drew this nose, this Muku Sumara, Kandu Mangi. Then the printout was taken. They went into the archives of Yadukula register they took. So it was written Vasudeva, Krishna's father. His photo came. PTO, page turnover, please turn over it. Then came Krishna's photo. Is this the one whom you saw, Usha? No, he's too good. The person whom I saw was a few notches less than him. PTO. Pradyumna's photo came, slightly lesser. Turn. Aniruddha, same man. So how will I be able to see him? Where is he? Address was written below. Dwaraka main road, Dwaraka cross street, Dwaraka. So how will I bring him? Chitralekha said, don't worry, I have also got a double masters in kidnapping. Alone. So she went and kidnapped Aniruddha with the single bed and brought him and kept that bed next to Usha. So as Usha in the night when she turned, she saw Aniruddha. She touched, oh, this is real Aniruddha. Deep song. So as they started playing in the gardens, the Rakshakas saw, they complained to Banasura, what kind of a daughter have you nurtured? She has brought some stranger home. So while Banasura said, arrest Aniruddha, Usha said, if you are arresting him, arrest me as well. So both of them were put into Parapanagrahara. So as they were put into the jail, the next day, Times of Dwaraka newspaper carried one, Krishna's grandson arrested on these charges, IPC 401, 402, 407. Now Krishna got this newspaper. What mistake has he done? I have also done the same thing. So he took his entire retinue and fought with Banasura and managed to spare Banasura's life because he was a great devotee of Mahadeva, Shambhu. And he brought Krishna, Aniruddha and his wife Usha home. After this, there are 2 more charitrams. Krishna had a school friend. 64 days he studied, in that he made one friend also. This boy, we don't know his name. Some people call him Sudhama. But Sudhama's name is not mentioned in Bhagavatam. At the same time, some people call him Kuchela. His name is also not called Kuchela. There is one verse which says, Yadruchayopapannena vartamano grihashrami tasya bharya kuchailasya kshukshama cha tatha vidha. In Sanskritam is a prefix. generally not denoting something great. It is called Kuja. Ravi Sashi Kuja. Mars is called Kuja. Kumuda. Ku is not a great prefix. Here, Kuchailasya. Chela means vastram. So it was a belief in those days when you spin garments, both the man and the woman. So after all this was over, then Rukmini asked, "Aap undiyo khaye hain kya?" Undiyo? Yeah, undiyo is also the michami dukadam. You take all of this. He ate. Then he said, "I'm sure Sushila ji would have sent something for me." Kuchela felt very bad. After having such a lavish food, he has brought flattened rice. I brought flattened rice. I like only flattened rice. Give me flattened rice. Krishna took one fistful and consumed. He was very embarrassed. Kuchela was very embarrassed. Krishna took the second. Rukmini came and said, no, dietitian has said. No. She stopped. Now, in the place of his house, there was a huge mansion. One lady was standing outside. Namaskaram, Mami. Sushila ingadappa. We used to stay here. You know Sushila? Nana Sushila. See, I go give lectures in these marriages. Did I tell you this? Yeah. I give lectures in these marriages. So there are 2-3 options. They will either call me after the vratam on the previous day. I will give 1 hour lecture. Safest duration. Second is after the Janavasam or after the Inishyatartham, before the reception. They will say 1 hour, we want to keep the audience engaged, so you come and speak. So I will go. I would have seen the girl and the boy. Generally I get introduced to them through a Zoom call, then I tell the meanings of the rituals and then they'll talk very well to me. On the day of reception, they will come. I will then realize without makeup they were much better. Sushila was looking much better. Can't you see MS Blue with red tapete? Korvai sari. All children had Naidu Hall clothes. Then he realized, when did this happen? Swami, I was grinding in the afternoon at 12:45. The grinding stone at 12:45, you won't believe Kuchela, it turned into ultra. Ordinary mud pot became Insta. That is when he realized when Krishna ate those flattened rice, the effect was here. Which means even without asking, the Lord grants. Why ask? We have made it a transaction today, right? 108 coconuts. If you let my son pass, for that he should study first. Ganesha will not come and write exam. So this is Kuchela Anugraham. After Mahabharata Yuddham, while Arjuna came to Dwaraka, he was seated with Krishna. They suddenly heard the cry of a Brahmana who said, even this child who's born is dead. Arjuna got up and wanted to check from the gazebo who's actually crying. Krishna said, sit. This is our internal matter. Gujarat, we will handle it. You don't have to write opinion articles in your newspaper. We will take care. There are few people who carry guns, you manage that. Here we will take care. But Arjuna said, no, my pastime is to poke in somebody else's. I am for born with that. So he comes and tells that Brahmana, what happened? Tell me. Brahmana says, see, I have been producing child after child. Every child after the birth goes missing. At least with the hope that this child will survive, we thought, but this child too went missing. I don't know what sin I have done. Arjuna says, don't worry. For your next child, I will give protection. He looked at Krishna, see, this is how administration turned to Krishna. The child is crying. By the time he turned to the child went missing. Now, as a child went missing, the Brahmana didn't stay quiet. He didn't stay mum. He said, when you have not been able to fulfill your promise, jump into blazing fire. You die. When you can't keep up your promise, die. If people can't keep up their election promises and have to die, we will see death in Bharatadesham every day. Right? He said, you die. Well, Arjuna was trying to be just and honest, and he lit the pyre. Krishna came and said, that is why I said you should not give commitments. Hold my hand. I will never let my friend die for my sake. I am your friend. I will protect you. He keeps the Brahmana. Again, the impossible happens. What is the impossible? He takes all three of them in a ratham, and the ratham goes upward. Enna sir, idu pudusa idu propellacha, pinnadilen fire vandadu. It went. Then at one point in time there was only darkness. Then Sudarshana guided them, and then they went to Vaikuntham 2.0. I told you from day one, right? Karya Vaikuntham. So as they went into Karya Vaikuntham, Arjuna was surprised. I have never seen this. Brahmana says, even I have never seen this. They get into the Gayatri Mantapam. Below was a Dharma Pitam, above which was the Sahasrara Padmam, above which was a Kurmam, over which was the 1,000-hooded Adisesha, seated on which is the Lord with one leg folded, one leg extended. Sridevi, Bhudevi, Neela Devi were seated. And as he saw them, he saw the missing children play on the lap of Sridevi. Now Krishna says, prostrate before him, he is Vaikunthanatha, bring those children back. Because I wanted you to see this Vaikunthanatha, all this happened, he brings those children back. This Charitram of Bhagavatam is called by a name, Sanātana Gopalam. And it's very, very important in the state of Kerala, because it is performed in Kathakali and Krishnattam Kali, a dance form, Sanātana Gopala Charitram. Interestingly, the Sthala Puranam in Kerala says, while coming back, a small Divyamangala Vigraham of the Lord seated in that posture was given to Arjuna, who gave it to the Brahmana, and that Brahmana and his descendants settled in Kerala, and that temple where this Divyamangala Vigraham is, and where the descendant of the Brahmana is the priest, is called Tripunitura. You cannot touch the priest, and you will not have artificial lights. 1,000 small lights will be lit in front of the Lord, and you just see bliss in front of you. Go visit this Purana Tresha. It's very important for Sanātana Gopala Charitram. As this is said on one side, let's head back to Bhishmaka. Bhishmaka was the king of Vidarbha Desham. Vidarbha, some says Assam. For me, what I've learned is Nagpur. Nagpur is Vidarbha in Maharashtra. Any Marathi speaking Astikas here? Anybody? Yeah, very good. So, the Sanskritam spoken in Vidarbha Desham used to be called Vaidarbhi. The purest form of Sanskrit. Purest form of Sanskrit used to be spoken in Vidarbha, Nagpur. So in this region ruled a king called Bhishmaka. He had 5 useless sons and one daughter called Rukmini. The eldest son was called Rukmi. Rukmi joined the Gymkhana. In the Gymkhana, the existing members were Jarasandha and Shishupala. They were playing carom. That time Rukmi came. Jarasandha said, are you new? Please come. Aiye, baithiye. Now, Jarasandha said, I seem to find some sorrow that was enveloped your face, Mr. Rukmi. Rukmi said, yes, my only sister is not married. We are searching for a good son-in-law. I can't assure you of good, but there is a son-in-law, prospect son-in-law in front of you. His name is Shishupal. Why don't you get your sister married to Shishupal? Even without doing any background check, he said, okay, Shishupal. Shishupal was the most rejected boy in those days. Foul-mouthed person. If he sits before media, he will talk something bad. Then later he will come and give clarification. What I meant was, later he will come. So he used to come. So Rukmi said, deal done. My sister is going to marry Shishupal. He went to Menaka. Who's Menaka? Cards. And printed. B. Rukmini weds C. Shishupal. With best compliments from Atlarkava Perellam Kodrat. Sahamitra Bandhukkalodu Varuvadu. Gifts? No, please. Because if they come itself, it's a gift. To see Shishupal is a danger. So, Rukmini's friends, her Sairandika Stris, hairdressers, they came and said, congratulations, Rukmini. Rukmini, why are you congratulating me? You're going to get married. Oh, even I didn't know whom to Shishupal. He's the most dreaded person, foul-mouthed person. At least I'll fall into Columbia River. Why will I marry that man? Somehow your brother has arranged, we have been ordained to dress you up. Now Rukmini thought, I've been keeping this in my heart for long. My father knows of my wish. But this man, my brother, doesn't seem to understand the feelings that emerge from the bottomest of my heart. So she thought, what should I do? She drafted a letter. As she drafted a letter, that evening was her Janavasam. Janu in Sanskritam means the portion till your knee. So that samskaram where the incoming son-in-law is given a vastram lower than the Janu is called Januvasam, which is called Janavasam. If you give shorts, it's Ajanavasam. So, that's why we say Ajanubahum. So, Januvasam was celebrated with Shishupala, ambassador car. I told you that, no? Roses were stuck. Slowly Shishupala and Rukmini are going, that car is going. The photographer is saying, she didn't go, she is not smiling. She knows that something nice will happen towards the end. So Shishupala was in cloud 9. We talk about cloud 22. Now it is cloud 9. So he said, I'm very happy. That Brahmana was given the job of carrying this letter. Chiradhita pranaya tvai balika sapadikankshita bhanga samakula tava nivedaitum dvijam adishat swakadanam kadanamkrita nirmitam. He took. From Nagpur, he has to go to Dwarka. He reached. As he reached Dwarka, the Rakshaka said, somebody from Vidarbha has come, please call him. Rukmini asked to give this letter to you. Krishna took. Then he thought, no. If it is some secret thing, then this person may go and gossip that there is some pact between two regions. He said, you read out. I don't know what is the content, you read out. This Brahmana also did not know what was written in that paper. He opens that letter. The first word itself gave an indication to Krishna when this Brahmana read out, this is not a normal letter, this is a love letter. Shrutva, Krishna plucked that letter and said, no, I will read. He read. Rukmini had written 7 verses. If at all you all have the time to memorize, relish, cherish, internalize, and understand the nuances that have been dropped between the words, the lines, and between the lines, please learn these verses. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatante. See, when you, these are all things that we can also be helpful in management. You address a gathering. How do you start? You have to address your team. How do you start? You have to pep them up. You cannot be a non-expressive person saying that, communication skills are bad, but writing skills are good. You cannot show everything in writing. You need to pep your team up. Your eye contact, the way you use your hand, the tone, where you articulate, where you rise, what kind of words you use as you enter the room. Unfortunately, I started. You should never start with such words. Unfortunately, very badly. There is a way you start. I'm so happy to see you all. That should give some smile to the faces. She says, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrindatante. She says, Krishna, You are Bhuvana Sundara. Mr. Always choose a person who is at par with me. Very important in marriage. You should always choose a person whom you know some elements of your likes and dislikes match. Opposites attract, plus minus, all this physics may not work. She says, Dhirapatim kulavatina vrinita kanya kale nisimha. The lady wants to come for the lecture, the husband will not come. Then what will be the problem? One will get prasadam here, for the other one it has to be cooked. Both come, you can eat the prasadam here and go, no? Dhirapatim kulavatina vrinita kanya kale nrisimha naraloka manobhiramam kale nrisimha. When that little boy Prahlada said that the Lord in whom I trust is found in every atom and he is found in this blade of grass and in the pillar, you emerged out of the pillar to prove how honest and sincere and just that boy was. I call you with the same devotion. Why can't you emerge from this letter and protect me? Kale nrisimha naraloka manobhiramam Tanme bhavan khaluvritah patirangajayam atmarpitascha bhavatotra vidho vidhehi mavira bhagam abhimarshatu chaityarat goma yuvandrigapate balirambujaksha. Oh, lotus side 1. I am ordained for you, you are for me. While this is the case, when I have been engaged to a lion like you at my heart, will I go behind this stray dog called as Shishupala? Goma yuvan mridapate. But now dog lovers don't come and fight with me. Goma yuvan mridapate balirambujaksha Purteshta dattaniyama vratadeva vipragurvarchanadibhiralam Bhagavan pareshaha aradhito yadigadagraja aityapanim grinhatu nena damaghosha sutadayoni. I am ready to break this relationship that I have with Shishupala even now. Come and take me. Shobhavini tvamajito vidahe vidarbhan gutta sametya prutanabhavidif paritaha nirmathya chaidyamadhardendra balam prasahya mam rakshasena vidinodvaha virya shulkam. You may ask, Rukmini, how can I, what clause in the constitution gives me the right? Listen to me, Krishna. Out of the 8 forms of the marriages that sanātana dharma agrees, there is one marriage called Rakshasa Vidhi. The boy likes the girl likes the boy, but the girl side doesn't like the boy. With the permission of the girl, the boy can take the girl. Don't quote me anywhere it is, please. Nirmathya chaidyamadhagendra balam prasahya mam rakshasena. You can quote Rakshasa Vidhi in the clause. Rakshasena vidhinodvaha virya shulkam antah purantarachani manihatya bandhum swamudvahe kathamiti pravadamupayam. You may ask, Rukmini, how can I come? Even Rakshasa Vidhi, there is very little time. Where can I come and meet you? You may ask. See, all this she presumes and answers. Purve durasti mahati kuladevi yatra yasya bahirnavavadhu girijamubeyat. In our family, there is a custom before the marriage, the girl has to go and pray to Girija Devi Parvati. There you come and take me. Antapurantharachani manihatya bandhum swamudvahe kathamiti pravadamupayam purve durasti mahati kuladevi yatra yasyam bahirnavavadhum girijamupeyat. She says, Krishna, after reading this letter, even then if you feel it is not right for you to come and take me, I can understand your position, but remember, I will chase you for another 100 vratakritan shata janma bhisyat. 100 janmas it will take. Rukmini had written, he has read. This Brahmana did not know what is the seriousness. Now Krishna had very little time in his hands, he has to go there. He took this Brahmana, sat on the chariot and went. As this portion of Bhagavatam was being told by an Upanyasaka in the presence of Shringeri Mahasannidhanam, he asked, what were the names of the horses? Who will know the names? How will I know the names? You need not know the names if it were the normal person. Krishna's horses you should know. Sugriva, Shaibhya, Megha, Pushpa, Balahaka. These were the names of the horses. With that speed, he reached the boundary. Early morning, 6 o'clock, he reached Vidarbha region. Now, Bhishmaka, the moment he knew Krishna has come in the vicinity, he took Madhuparkam, with fruits and milk, and gave it to Krishna. Generally, if you give this, you always give this to your incoming son-in-law. He did not realize. Now others, media started speculating. Why should Krishna? He was not in that invitee list. Please check it once again. Check the amended one. No, Krishna's name, they did Control F, everything they check. Krishna, Vasudeva, Janardana. No name, Abhayatam, Bhakta Namram, Bhavani, Shri Vidyam, Shantamurtim, Sakala Suranutam, Sarva Sampat Pradatri, Sakunkuma Vilepanam, Anika Chumbika Studikam, Samantahasite Kshanam, Sachara Chapa Pashankusham, Asesha Jana Mohinim, Arunamarya Bhusham, Baram Japa Kusuma Bhasuram, Japa Vida Usmare Tambikam. As she prayed to Ambika and she got out, 8:45 a.m., 9 o'clock is the Muhurtam. They are all telling, all media channels, live coverage. Rukmini vandu vittargal, adho paarugal, vandu konde varugiraargal. So as Rukmini yen varavillai endu theriyavillaiye, it agivittadu Pandavargalai neengal enna nenikkirீர்கள்? Why is she not getting down the hill? She has to get married. Rukku! Come down. 8:55, 8:56, 9 o'clock, it is her marriage. She lost hope. As she turned and gave that plate, she said, I think we need to get back. For a second, she just checked if on the left side he is there. Drishyachyuta Bhagavatam says, at one corner she saw some hope coming. Vedanta Deshika says, Tulasi Gandham Panchajanyasya Nadaha. She heard the sound of the conch. As that Panchajanya Nadam came, and as that Tulasi Gandham he could smell, then is when Krishna in his chariot of the 4 horses, Shaibhya, Sugriva, Megha Pushpa, Balahaka, with a thin dust that was enveloping the air, here came a beautiful black diamond who stood in front of Rukmini. To her eyes that hovered around him were like the bumblebees. The face of Rukmini was like that of a beautiful lotus. She extended her hand. So did Krishna extend his hand. He just pulled Rukmini into the chariot, and as the onlookers saw, she was just taken right in that place in a second. That is when Sishupala got to know the greatness of Anamam. Gopika Jivana Smaranam. So, what will they do with the Tambulam? Sishupala weds Rukmini. Everybody said, Kurtumma, Thirmikonma, gift and all. They had given. Sishupala was seated there just like this looking. Putanadi Samharam Purushottamavataram Shitana Hiraya Viharam Shri Rukminidaram Cheta. As they entered, Dwaraka arrangements were ready. Now Devaki, who are you, ma? She was taken to the Sabha Mandapam. Alokaye Rukmini Kalyana Gopalam. Alokaye Rukmini Kalyana Gopalam. Nandanandanamashruta Vrinda Vrinda Raghavanyam Nandita Narayana Tithanandam Ananda Kandam Alokai Rukmini Kalyana Gopalam Chandranana Bhaishmi Bhama Jambavati Satyamitra Vinda Lakshmana Bhadra Kalindi Nayakam Nandanandanamashruta Vrinda Vrinda Raghavandyam Nandita Narayana Tithanandam Ananda Kandam Alokai Rukmini Kalyana Gopalam. Now Rukmini, as she was seated with Krishna in the later days in Dwaraka, one day there is an incident mentioned by one of the Acharya Varyas in Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam called Tirukudandai Andavan. He used to state with extreme devotion. Krishna was seated with Rukmini. In the city of Dwaraka, there used to be a person who used to manage and tend to cattle. There were certain cattle varieties which would not eat food, whatever fodder is given to them, older than a day. The second cattle variety was 2 days old, it will eat. Third category, 3 days. Fourth category, 4 days old. Beyond that, there was no cattle. So he had some food for the cattle which was very old, stale. He served to the cows refused to eat. On the other hand, while Krishna was talking to Rukmini, suddenly he went and vomited, puked. Rukmini, why is he throwing up? Then Krishna said, see, one bhakta gave me old food because this person wanted to give it to the cattle refused to have. So he thought if the cattle is also not having, I will give it to Guni. Krishna, he gave. Let Krishna take it. So the Lord consumes whatever the devotee gives with utmost devotion, even if it is stale. So because I took the stale food from that person, my stomach had stomach upset. So I'm vomiting. What is the message, Krishna? Rukmini asked. When devotees give me something, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, whatever they give, I accept. They are giving out of sincere devotion. I accept. I know. For me, a person who gives even a petal of the lotus to the person who makes a beautiful diamond crown in Tirupati, both are the same. What they give is not important, that Jivatma is more important, Atma Samarpanam is more important. Don't you see mistakes at all in your devotees? Rukmini asked. I don't. What are you then called? Kurai Ondrum Illada Govindan.